Aloha and welcome back to Jordan Reviews Kevin Samuels. We have a lady here who these are the ones that I want to show. It shows the disconnect in the black community, and I'm just gonna let her start talking, and I'll cut in when I feel I need.
All this stuff.
Hello, Mr. Samuel. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. How old are you?
I am 29.
All right. So, what are we talking about?
Okay, Mr. Samuel, I just heard you say, if we just give men what they really want, then we will be able to um be married and have a good life with the man. I disagree.
You have any
I'm a
children?
I do. I have a son.
And were you married?
What was I married when I conceived him? No.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I disagree because I'm a social worker. So I'm in the helping field, and I was just got out of a long-term relationship. And when I was in the relationship, he would tell me, okay, I want to go back to school. I want to pursue my degree. I want to finish, I want to finish my degree. So I thought, like, okay,
Just a heads up, there's a little bit of swearing in this, just so you know, but kids shouldn't be watching this anyway.
great. Let me come up with a plan on, let's see how we can get your degree. Let's see what type of money we got to put in for you to do these. But when it came down to it, that's not what he really wanted to do. So it's
Hold
like,
on. Hold on.
I love Monday.com.
Are you judging all men based upon what you're talking about?
I'm not, but
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm
Because you said
positive.
you did. Okay. You say you disagreed, but I allowed you to speak, and you spent the better part of a minute describing your situation.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying at first, like I'm a social worker, so I work with a lot of women, and I work with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
single women.
But do you ever get the father side of the story?
No,
Thank you.
I
Good
when
question.
I
I'm
say I
sorry.
work,
Hold on, ma'am. You get one side. There are three sides: hers, his, and the truth. And guess what? I can pull up video after video of women breaking the law, lying, and females believing it. 74-year-old man in Idaho Springs was tasered, framed, and stroked out because his neighbor, who was drunk, high, and had multiple felonies, lied and said he had them. Go look it up, guys. And that guy didn't get anything. And you know what? The female cop was over there. This old man, they tasered him in his own home, planted evidence on him, and they were more concerned with the woman who was drunk and high. So, women tend to believe women's sob stories. And you cannot be an intelligent person and tell me just because you're a social worker, hearing one side of the story, knowing you're a single mother predisposed to having a heart for women, that you're getting a balanced picture.
no,
Logically tell me that's what you're doing.
no. What I'm saying is, I'm not only am I a social worker, I am a female, and I do
Mm-hmm.
work
You
with
just said that.
I do work with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of single women that I have
A
seen.
lot of single women who choose to marry before they carry, do things out of order, and you don't get the father's story.
He meant to say carry before they marry. Every now and then he gets his little phrases backwards, but when you talk as much as he does, you can't say everything perfectly.
Right?
I'm speaking about dating, Mr. Samuel.
No, ma'am. I'm speaking about you're trying to set the table in a bullshit way. Do these women in social work come in here and they're married women who have children as a result of marriage and their husbands are still around?
Some, yes, sir.
Some, what percentage? 1 in 4 black women were married. Careful.
Married about 6%.
So 94% of these women aren't.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So when you say some, I don't understand why y'all do that. Some, if your kid came home and said, Mom, here's my grade, and he gave you an F minus, you said, boy, you didn't get nothing. What did you do? You got an F minus? I got some of them right. You got 6 right, but you got 94 wrong. You'd be like, oh, okay, so you got all right. You're already starting off wrong. And I'm going to tell you, in your relationship, you were wrong too. Let me tell you why. Because you said he decided he wanted to go to school. So something like that. He wanted to go to school. And immediately you pulled out your dick. And immediately you pulled out your dick. And immediately you pulled out your penis. You started figuring out what to do and how to this and how to that. That ain't your job. It was for him to figure it out. He just said what he wanted to do. Did he ask you to go do all that? Did he say, I want to finish school? Did he ask you to go do all that? I hear you. Thank you. Put up your dick. So, I mean, just saying, many of our women, you're listening to 94% of women by your stats who aren't married, who are living at a level where they need social work. And you expect to hear good stories about men, and you don't even pay attention, and you don't listen to the father's standpoint. Well, I tell you what, Miss Social Worker, why don't you go interview the fathers to understand what they're dealing with these mothers, because they can't all be angels.
That would be a great idea.
Yes, sir.
And another thing, are you saying that men are not consumers? Where in the world, if you give a market what it wants, does it not buy it if you can afford it?
Well, that's even with me. With if I go to Dillard's, if I go into Dillard's and I get in the Dillard's and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this perfume. Like, I got my mind set, I'm gonna buy this perfume. But if nobody's actually selling it to me, or if I don't feel like I want to spend my money in this store, I'm not gonna do it.
Excuse me, man. You changed it. You see what you did? If I go into Dillard's and I already got my mind made up, and they don't have it, or I don't have the money. Excuse me.
They don't.
Excuse me.
Right. But he said, what person or what buyer doesn't buy what they want? If the market produces what they want, then they'll buy it. And she's like, well, if it's not there, that's not what he said. You're changing the premise.
Man, I want you guys to understand this is what they do. This is how their logic works. I said, where do you go if you give a market what it wants and it has the money to purchase and it doesn't buy? You just made up a story where I'll go to Dillard's and I got my mind made up. And that's the problem. Most women don't buy what they should buy.
But still, even if her mind was made up, if the perfume was there, she'd buy it, right? Because he said, where in the world does the market give the buyer what it wants? If the buyer has the money, the buyer won't buy it. If Dillard's would have had that perfume, she would have bought it. So she killed her own story.
They buy the motherfuckers they make babies with and come into your office needing help with. That's what they do. Instead of shopping at Dillard's, they should have been somewhere else. Man, you're putting the problem on men. There are not enough men. You're saying that men would not make a lot. Why? Okay, then why? Let's play it the other way. Then why would men, if women were offering men in mass in general, what they wanted, why would these men choose to remain single?
I think greed. I really do. I think greed. I think, I can get something from her, but let me see what she has to offer. Let me see if it's just a little bit better.
Most men ain't got game like that. Most men would be happy to have a woman.
You guys, see what you're doing? And see, women think because everybody will fuck them, they think men have as free sexual options. How does the average man have greed in the sexual marketplace? You know how hard it is for most guys to get laid? 30% excuse me. 30% of men 30 or under report not having sex.
That's crazy.
30% of men under 30 are virgins. But you can have somebody like Gabrielle Sidibe. And what do women say? Somebody will fuck her because somebody will. Women think there's something called attraction.
I don't know who Gabrielle Sidibe is.
Symmetry. They think just because they can go out and offer their vagina to the market, they know somebody will take it. If I walk out and offer my penis to the market, somebody will. But will as many people, how about this? If you go in a room of 100 men and say, I'm clean, I got no diseases, I just want to hook up one night stand, no string, no attachments. Out of 100 men, how many think are gonna smash?
A lot.
if we got 30% of virgins, then
No.
100% of that 30% is smashing, right? If you take 30, if you offer those virgins sex, they're not virgins because they want to be.
No, you mixing things. No, don't play games with me. Put your 100 men in a room, 100 men, not 30% virgin, just 100 men. How many gonna smash?
I don't know, Mr. Sanders.
Really? Just give me a number. Heterosexual men, no. You want to have sex? You clean? How many men you think will smash?
Maybe 80.
All right. And if I put 100 women in a room with the same kind of man, average man, how many women you think gonna fuck?
Maybe 60.
Man,
Guys,
where is this club? You want to go to that club, don't you guys?
that's the problem. They think, excuse me, look in the comment section. I understand, man. No, when it's over, women think it is easy.
Where is this room that 60% of women will have sex with the average man? That is the room all guys want to find.
Easy for men to get
What?
sex, as they think it's just as easy for men to get sex as it is for them, because women only think about, when they talk about the sexual marketplace, you talk about the men you're interested in, not 100% of men. If 60% of men were out here, anyway, so no, that number is high. I would say closer to the best pickup artists. The best pickup artists, the guys who have all the game, who study this stuff, report a 10% close rate. 10.
1 in 10.
And these are the guys
Shot
who are the
down
game
9
masters.
times nine out of every 10 times they get shot down.
Okay.
So you're saying that if you offered men an opportunity to women were offering men what they wanted, and they didn't have to be in the game anymore, you're saying they would stay in the game because of greed, implying they could get more.
Yes, sir.
They don't get it, guys. They don't get it. They don't get it. No, ma'am. I just told you that makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
That 33 or that 30% virgins would jump right on that, right? Because at least now they'd be having regular sex and they could have a family. Because I don't know if all men want family, but most people do, men and women, right? So these 30% virgins, if they live their life that way, they're never going to have sex and never going to have a family. If just one woman came up to him and said, hey, we could have sex, get married, have a family, he'd say yes, most of them.
How can guys, if 30% of men aren't having sex, why would they stay in the market if they were getting what they want from a woman?
Right? And how could they be greedy?
To gain more.
More of what? What are they already getting if they're virgins?
But see, she's thinking like a woman. A woman always wants to see if she can get better, if she can get better. I don't know if the word is settling, but men are like, they're just like, okay, I'm ready to be with this one, and I'll be with this one for the rest of my life, and they're cool with it. And then if she normally, like, she gains weight and stuff, and men normally just they stay there. It's the women that always want to leave and say, oh, I could do better, this guy might have more money, or, whatever. Just, it's not men who do that.
We're not talking about the 30.
No. We're going to talk. No, yes, we are, because they.
But see, that's it too. She said, we're not talking about the 30. They only think about the guys that they would have sex with, right? So in their mind, 100% of those guys can have sex. So most women would have sex with them, right? Because they would. They don't even worry about the rest of the guys. That they don't even think about them, right? So since they don't think about them, they don't think about them. They don't compute to their brain.
They are part of the 100. And see, that's the point. This is so foreign of a concept. No offense, man. I really mean no offense. But your mind can't even wrap your head around the concept. It doesn't even compute with you. It's like, well, I don't want to talk about that because that's so far outside of my realm. And all the men are like, what are you talking about? That's the real world. You can't get rid of the 30. That's there. So if 100% of men are out there and 30% under the age of 30 aren't having sex, if you gave men what they wanted, which is just a fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless companion, Women were saying, okay, the majority of us are that. You say men would say, instead of taking you and going off and having consistent sex in a relationship, I would rather stay out here dating, spending my money, time, and opportunity for the possibility of sex. The possibility.
We know all men are not spending their money on women to have
Ma'am, I don't really give a shit about the money aspect.
Spending money on women to have sex. I don't know if that's the way you call it, but you got to spend money on gas. You got to buy food, right? You got to do all this stuff. You got to get your hair done. You got to look nice. Put your clothes on. You got to buy your clothes. All this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. What he's saying is to be in the game, to be in the dating game, costs money. Whether you're sitting there just handing women money or not. But if you're in a relationship, you don't have to do the courtship anymore. Now you guys are building. You're not spending money. You're trying to build money. You're doing money together.
See, you've
That's
lost.
the part of the day.
No. But the thing is, I'm not trying to be funny. That's not the point. The point is a bigger point. The point is you have just demonstrated why there's such a disconnect. You ladies have no idea what it's like to be a man. You are so disconnected from us because all your life is spent around talking to women and listening to their stories and everything else. And when I tell you about what's going on with men, you still think that, well, that's like this. That's like this. Okay, change it from men to women. You're hungry, right? You ever been to a restaurant and there was a wait and you're hungry, right?
Yes.
All right. And there was this 2-hour wait, and the next closest restaurant is 40 miles away.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a wait there too.
Sure.
You sitting there waiting, and then they come along and say, well, we can sit you and your guest not at your favorite table. We can sit you at this booth, or we can sit you at the bar. And then right now, or you can wait 2 hours. What do you do?
I'm gonna go sit at the bar because I want my
Thank you,
food
because
quick.
human beings are, thank you, and that's exactly what men are doing. If you give men what they want, how they want it, they'll sit at the bar. They won't wait to go have a chance to sit in out there or go to another restaurant. Thank you for making the point that you understand human beings operate on incentives.
Mm-hmm.
That's how men
Look
operate
at it.
too. Men was
It's crazy. Like, when I first started watching Kevin Samuels, he seems a little harsh. And you're like, why is he doing this? But look at her face. She has no idea what she just said. She doesn't get it. Like, basically, these 30% of men that are virgins, plus, I mean, he has a stat where he says, I think it's 80% of black kids are born to 20% of the black men. So the other 80% of black men are only having 20% of the kids. They're not doing a whole lot. Or like, I think 30% are married or something like that. I forget the stats. He might even say it in this one. I'm not sure. I didn't watch it all. But it's crazy. Like, if you give the men what they want, even if it's not all of what they want, right? They didn't get to sit at the table they wanted, right? It's not the exact woman what they want, but you give them most of what they want, he's gonna go ahead and go eat. That's what he's saying. And
saying, if you give me what I want right now, I don't need I'll take the bar. The bar is a woman giving men what they want. They won't go out here and say, well, I'll try for a better seat. Does that make sense?
Still don't get it.
That's a restaurant. Of course, we're gonna move faster
Holy
with a restaurant.
shit.
But
Holy
if a man wants to go see their favorite, Mr. Samuel,
No. You're gonna let me talk. That's my show. But no, you're acting like. Do you understand why people use sports analogies to explain the complex concepts?
That's
Do
what
you?
I do, yeah.
Because people can relate. I used a restaurant analogy because the sexual marketplace seems to be outside of your ability to relate, but you can relate to a restaurant. And now you're going to tell me, no, those things are different.
She does not understand the sexual marketplace at all.
Mr. Sammy, when you used your analogy, when you used your point, when you say if you walk in the room and 100 men in there, how many do you want to have sex? You took the 30 out of it. So when it comes to my
No. I said if you walked into a room with 100 men and you said I'm down to fuck 100 of you, how many would smash?
But you took the 30% of virgins out of that 100.
No, ma'am. That's okay. That's the sexual marketplace. There's a millions. And even, okay, let's take it that way. Even if it was 30% virgins, those virgins would fuck you.
Right? All day.
If you
they'd
were
be first in
offering
line.
free pussy to a virgin, no cost, no zip, are you crazy?
And we're talking about virgins between 20 and 30 years old, right? So like grown men that are virgins. Every man, well, there are a few asexual people out there, but then he did say all heterosexual men, right? Because I mean, why would an asexual man be in a place where we're talking about smashing or not?
So it's not, and then that there goes to show you again, your other point is invalid when it comes
No, it's
to
not.
when
Guys,
it comes to dating.
I want
and
you
when it
guys to
comes
understand.
money.
I'm going to upload this. This is really female logic. This is really what it is. This is really what it is. She thinks she's really making points.
I am.
I'm sad.
I am, Mr. Samuels. I wholeheartedly, I really feel like men are greedy. Men are really out.
So men are not greedy. That top 10 or 20% of men are kind of greedy, but that's all she's looking at. That 30% of virgins, and then even the bottom, say 50, 60% of men in the sexual marketplace of value or whatever you call it for them, they would be happy to have one woman that's just nice to them, and they could have sex once a week or more often than, because a lot of them don't have sex ever. You know, like even if you're not the 30% virgin, probably the next bottom 30% in that window, like up to the 50 to 60%, they're probably not having sex very often. They're just not virgins.
To get it's to the highest bidder. Whoever has the most value, whoever parents, whoever family comes from the most fortune, that's the woman that wins. I have worked so many places before I became a social
This is
worker.
why women.
I have never ever looked into a woman's family or background. Like I don't care about their money, and I ain't even got money. I'm not a high value man. And I still don't care about a woman's money as long as we got enough to pay rent. That's all that really matters. I mean, and eat, obviously, stuff like that. But I mean,
Shouldn't be in charge of nothing.
Can I finish?
Oh, don't do that. This is why women shouldn't be in charge of nothing. I'm serious, man. You're talking about out of men, 100% of men. What percentage of men are you talking about?
I'm talking about 75% of men.
So, ma'am, the 75% doesn't even line up with the 30% of the virgin. You can't be greedy in a virgin.
But you just said that if I was to walk in a room and the 30% of virgins was there, the virgins would have.
Ma'am, do you understand? Do you understand an example?
And she just went backwards anyway. She said that men are greedy, that they're looking for women with money, this and that. And since the 30% that are virgins would smash or have sex with her, they can be greedy. That's desperate. That's the exact opposite. These 30% of men would have sex with almost any woman, no matter if she had money or not. If she was poor, they pay. A lot of them would take you out on all the dates in the world because they have no women to do anything with, and they want to have a woman to do something with.
And the clothes. Okay. See, there's something called like an example where you're putting like a little test case over here, and then there's the real world. You're an educated woman. You should be able to bounce between these concepts. You're trying to make it all the same thing. And this is what I told you guys. Men's minds are like waffles. We can compartmentalize and logically move through things. 1 0 1 0, open, close, on, off. We can do that much easier. Women's minds are like spaghetti. Everything touches. The logic runs through their feelings. That's why she keeps saying, I feel. Because to them, it's all one stream of consciousness. So to her, she really believes she is just on this logical path. And she doesn't realize that all the men are sitting back saying, you're talking about a small set of men extrapolating it out to all. Men are greedy. How can men, the average black man in this country earns $42,000, okay? That's $21 an hour. How can
if the average black man makes $42,000, that means 50% make about that, and more people make less than that. So over 50% of black men make $50,000 or less. How are they gonna be greedy?
a man who's average earner be greedy in the sexual marketplace?
Half the women won't even look at it.
Because they date women that have money. So when they date women that have money and they
Where is
date
she
women
at?
that comes from a family with money,
The
that
average black
family-
woman in this country earns $37,000. So fully 50% of black men, 50% earn 42. 50% of black women earn 37. 74% of black women earn less than $50,000. And you're talking about these people who come from families and money. 80% of our children are from single parent households. You are talking about the top 10%. And you're talking about it like it's 100%. The numbers are against you.
the numbers.
Oh man, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Just
Right, but men do not look for women like that. I don't even know. I've never even tried to find a top 10% woman. I wouldn't know where to go, and I wouldn't, like, if somebody walked up to me and they just happened to be fine. But I don't think men, I don't know any men that do that other than maybe rich men, right? If you're like a movie star, Brad Pitt and them guys, right? They stay, Ben Affleck, they stay with the top 10% women, or they stay, top 1% women. But other than that, I mean, regular dudes, I ain't never heard no regular dude be like, I'm gonna go find me this rich lady.
understand what I said.
Okay.
You are
I
talking
understood-
about women with money.
I understood what you said.
74% of black women earn less than $25,000 hours or less. Would
I
you
got it.
consider $50,000 to be money?
No, absolutely not.
So by 9% of black women earn $75,000 or more. 9.
Okay.
What do you consider to be money for a woman?
Their
Annually.
range. Their range. You just said 75,000 or more.
So you're talking about 9%, and I said 10.
But she's saying that all the men are shooting for these 9% of women. I've never seen that.
It doesn't matter.
I
It-
just
the-
said you're
the
talking
con-
about the top
concept-
10% of. She don't get it. I said you're talking about the
Should've
top
gone
10% of
for it.
women as far as earnings. Like all the average guy is going after 9% of women. Do men choose women based on money first?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh
Oh,
my
my God, that's the perfect question. Yes, absolutely.
No,
Yes,
no,
yes, absolutely.
absolutely not.
Yes,
Where are you from, man?
Absolutely.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Mississippi.
Mississippi goddamn variants. I swear to God.
She's from Mississippi. The guys around her don't even choose where they live based on money. Mississippi is the poorest state in the union, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not, it's in the bottom 5 next to Alabama. Holy moly. The guys that there's not even women with money there. Who are they picking then? Then all the guys in Mississippi just aren't picking nobody because there's nobody there with money.
I'm from
They-
Mississippi.
When people are poor, they honestly believe, especially when you're poor-minded. So men pick women based on money.
Yes, absolutely. Status. Yes.
No,
Oh
man.
my God, in status?
Oh.
I think men would rather have a woman with money and no status than a woman with status and money, because if she has status, she's going to take the manly role, right? So men don't pick for either of those things, most men.
Jesus Christ. It's not even, I don't even want to do this, but I'm going to do you.
I'll make you famous.
You're going to become famous, man. Because men pick women based upon looks first.
I love this town.
It's crazy. She's shaking her
In the
head.
comment section, gentlemen. Man,
How could she
were you
say
raised
that?
with your father?
I was.
Do you have any brothers?
I don't.
Okay. And you're how old again?
29.
You've been wrong on fully about 80% of the things that have come out of your mouth. And you haven't, and it doesn't matter if I use facts, data. You can go, and you're a social.
And it's amazing. Yeah, I was just about to say it's amazing. She's a social worker. She's supposed to be helping people, and she is professionally wrong. This is nuts.
Go pull it all this for yourself. You're saying that men pick women based upon the money. Okay, then there's a question. Why do you have women like Jill Scott? What was that woman's name? Down here in Georgia. Ran for governor. Stacey, whatever her name is.
Stacey Abrams.
Oh yeah, the
What?
lady with you.
Mm-hmm. Why do you have these women who are chronically single if men pick women based upon money first? Why do black women report the more education they have and the more money they make being less married?
I don't know.
It just doesn't
Well, according to
compute.
what you say, men pick women based upon money first.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not doing this to make fun of this lady. I wish this lady the best of luck. But it's the black community. This is how a lot of people think and how a lot of women act and move. Like, she's just not hearing, and she won't hear, and she won't pay attention to the other guys. Like, it's not even just the black community, but women really only pay attention to the guys that they would see, right? That they don't pay attention to that 30% of men who just aren't seen. But man, we need to do better in our community. That she's a helper of our community. This woman, nothing is computing. She can't get it. He's telling her straight up, and she even, like with the restaurant thing, she even got it, and then she wouldn't take it. It's like, wow. So we need to do better in our community. And this is one of our community helpers.
But according to the numbers, they don't. Stacey Abrams, successful woman. She has money. Where's her husband? Gabrielle Sidibe. She had to go get an average-looking white dude. Do you want to retract that statement?
I don't. I stand on that, and I believe that. I mean, that's just some women. I mean, some women that you're not. Oprah. Oprah has a man.
Oprah's unfucking married.
She's not married, but she has money.
Exactly.
Thank
you.
God.
But she could be married if she.
No, she couldn't. No, she couldn't.
Oprah could not be married
To an average man.
Stedman if she wanted to.
First of all, I move Oprah to the side because Oprah there's a question about something. Man, why? So, what do men choose women based upon? If women choose men based upon money, what do men choose women based upon?
Men choose women based upon money. Women pick men solely off love.
I'm like, what does that even mean? How do you fall in love? Like, what makes you fall in love? Is it looks? Is it their personality? Could it be their sex? Could it be the way they play sports or swing a bat? Like, what is solely based upon love mean?
Ooh. And this is a social worker, y'all.
Right, hurting the community.
I mean, I'm to the point to where I don't even want to make any jokes because this is so sad.
It's dangerous, man. This is crazy.
It's the truth.
No, ma'am. You are danger. And you advise other women?
I do. Absolutely, yes. I
This
do.
is scary.
Absolutely, yes.
Ma'am, you really
Man,
shouldn't have
she's
said
proud.
that.
Why? It's the truth. I wouldn't lie to you. It's the truth.
Because you shouldn't be advising anybody.
Stretching will not.
This woman actually says men pick women based upon money. Then if that's the case, why do women who have PhDs and MBAs and everything else, why aren't they married? Especially in our community. Because we have the most educated women, right?
Yeah.
Okay, why do we have the lowest marital rate?
Sometimes we get married and we
One in four black women will marry anybody. Not just black men. 1 in 4 black women will marry in their lifetime. So you can't make it a black man issue.
Only 1 in 4 black women will get married. So I think it's 26 or 28% of black women will get married in their lifetime.
If men
It's
pick,
definitely
excuse me, you're not gonna fucking put this on black men. I will destroy you if you try that shit. I said okay, as long as you don't try that, we can have the conversation, but 1 in 4 black women will marry in their lifetime. If we have the most educated, meaning making money and education, then why are they the least married? If men choose women based upon status.
Some women are very busy. They have busy schedules. Some educated women have very busy schedules. So they really don't have time to date.
Some. Talk to me about.
That's crazy. And I've never heard a man marry a woman based on status, other than like the elite people, like, you know, like the Trump guys. They probably marry women based on some kind of status, you know. What do you call, like, kings and queens and stuff like that? They marry about status. But I've never had status. I was a quarterback. That's my highest status ever. Maybe coach now. But like most people, we don't have status. We don't even think about status. Like, it's cool to be a CEO, and now you start. But other than that, like working in restaurants or you're a plumber, you're a pizza guy, whatever, you know, doing regular stuff. We don't even use the word status. I don't use the word. I don't even know the last time I used the word status.
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't want to talk about. See, what you do is when you start losing the argument, you start to deflect to the minority. Talk to me about the majority. 50% of the women in question who are educated, but yet 1 in 4 were married. Don't talk to me about some. Talk to me about the majority. Why are 1 in 4 marrying? And actually, the marital rate drops as Black women go up in education and up in income, which is an up in status. Why does marriage drop? Don't tell me about the ones that are some that are too busy. If men pick women based on if men pick women based on status, why are these higher status women more unmarried?
I believe that they get to the point where it's like, I've been single, I've been alone by myself, or while they're getting their education, they're dating, but it's just not a connection.
Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right, ma'am.
But that really didn't even blame the men. That's just saying the women don't want the men. She's not making a lot of sense.
You just contradicted your own point and you won't stop. You said men pick women on status, and I'm saying, why are the women that have more status less married? You said men pick women based on status. And you have to explain why the women who have higher status are less married.
They choose not to be. They choose not to be after.
This is your enemy, gentlemen.
Execute Order 66.
So you think you know Wix?
I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to be honest. This conversation ranks right up there with that smile conversation that I had.
I want to find that
Black women not wanting to smile at Black men. This is one of the saddest conversations I've had with a Black woman in my life. And the fact that nothing I'm saying,
I can't tell by her face
none of the data,
if she understands that it's the saddest conversation or not. Because, man, this is why I wanted to show this. I watched probably the first 10 minutes of this, and then I wanted to do this video. But wow, this lady is, and it's scary, man, because she's not being mean or malicious. She's just wrong and dead set on being wrong. And she's a person that's out in the community doing stuff with and for people. Like, it's scary.
none of it is moving you off of your erroneous, false, demonstrably erroneous percent. You're just doubling and tripling down. You haven't opened your mind and said, well, maybe, well, that doesn't really make sense. Or maybe that's what I thought or felt, but you know, let me go back and you doubled and tripled down. Do you have a son or a daughter?
I have a son.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Oh, it's so bad. And in our community, in almost any community, we need to have more dual parenting when you split up, or the father should have the baby more or the child more. Guys just think more, like he said, compartmentalized or whatever. We just think more rational. Women think more with their heart or whatever, more emotionally. And she's going to tear this boy up that she's raising.
Let me ask you something, okay? And I mean no disrespect, I really don't. I really don't. But are you trolling me? Are you trolling
I
me?
hope she says yes.
I'm not.
Oh,
Well, even if we were talking as just two educated people, ma'am, do your feelings trump facts?
No.
So if you feel something is one way or another, and facts are presented to show you the opposite, do you change your mind?
Sometimes I have to, yeah.
Sometimes.
oh God.
Okay. Why would you not change your mind?
If I have this just gut feeling, if I just had this strong feeling, I won't waver off of it.
So if facts,
Jesus, did you hear that?
impartial,
So this is a social worker. If she has a gut feeling about something, but then she gets facts that tell her that her gut feeling is wrong, but her gut feeling is so strong she won't believe the facts. She's out here affecting people, affecting women and men's lives. This is not okay.
you will, and you can be proven factually that something is correct, true, right. You're saying that as an educated woman, that there are times where you'll sit back and just ignore the facts based upon a strong gut feeling.
Yes.
Is that how you're going to raise your son?
Off my morals, yes.
That's not morals. Are you going to raise your son to look at facts that he can verify and prove, scientific method or whatever, and then say, I'm going to go off my strong gut feeling? Is that how you're going to raise your son?
Yes.
We have another young black statistic, y'all.
That is insane. So she's going to raise her son to not look at facts and statistics, to not look at the truth, to not look at just what's there, but just to use his feelings. That is not okay. That is a terrible parent. And like I said, I wasn't trying to attack her before, but I mean that might sound like a little bit of attack, but that is a bad parent. So you don't raise your kids like that. That's awful.
I'm serious. People think I hate black women, and I do this to show you the sickness in our community.
Yes, we need people to see this.
You really believe this is right.
She can't even hear it.
This is, I don't even need to say anything else.
And it looks like she's trying to get it. But
The world is different for men than for women. Women can get away more with doing things that way. You do realize this is why so many young black men are in jail, because they go off on their feelings based upon their facts. But then you sit around and turn around in the same group of women talking about black men can't produce. You don't make enough money to provide. But you, ma'am, are the kind of woman that raises a boy to go off of his feelings, his strong gut. How do you think that's going to set your son up to compete with men of other races?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
Oh my God.
How old is your son?
12.
Oh my God.
When the fuck do you think you should start thinking about it?
But see, this is why he talks to women like that. She got a 12-year-old son who is, like he said, is about to be a statistic. He cares about the black community. And this is crazy. This lady, she said, talking about people going to jail when they use their feelings over facts, and she's like nodding, yeah. But this is how you raised your son. And then after you talked about the jail thing, we come back to it, you still say you're gonna raise your son like this. I haven't thought about it. This is a huge problem in our community.
I'm not being funny, man. I'm trying to talk to you seriously. You're raising a 12-year-old black boy.
Or he's trying to save her son.
And you're telling everybody in here that I'll raise him to believe in his gut over things that he can see is true.
She's still nodding.
And you want him to go out into that dangerous world. What's going to protect him if his senses and his logic
Right there.
doesn't?
Oh my God.
What's supposed to protect him?
I feel so bad for this.
Morals, values.
She's serious, y'all. This is terrible.
Feelings are not morals. You keep calling things morals. These are feelings. You're not supposed to emotionally respond. You're supposed to intellectually.
Okay, and again, black women, you talk about the men aren't doing the right thing, this and that. Black women, this is a black woman raising, he's 12 now, but he's going to be a black man at some point, right? Who's raising these black men that you guys are all mad at? You need to, if you want a strong black man, you need to raise a strong black man. That boy should be your number one priority, not all those women at the social working place that I'm a woman and I feel for them and I think like them or whatever and I'm going to do for them. The best thing you could do for them is to raise a strong black son that will at least take one woman off the market and give her a family and do the things that you guys say y'all want.
React. And you guys wonder why we have so many emotional young black men, because this is their mother. And they make it sound like a virtue, morals. This isn't morals. It's illogical, feelings-based thinking.
What's wrong with having emotions? What's wrong with acting?
When it is opposite to observable, verifiable truth, facts.
Right? She doesn't understand. This is crazy. You don't need to raise any kids.
When 2 + 2 is 4, and you still say, I believe it's 3, because that's my morals. I'm serious. What do you not understand that?
I get that.
Her brain is hurting.
So what's the question?
It's no question, Mr. Samuels. I was just listening.
No, I'm asking what's the question, because you're saying what's wrong with having morals. Man, morals is right or wrong. Facts are prove or disprove. 2 + 2 is 4. What is the right or wrong in that equation?
Jump in my new car with me.
It's not 3. You said 3. No, it's 4. That's the right. It's 4.
Yeah, but if your gut told you that's not all the picture, man, you've said it several times that you can look at something and think or believe something, and then you can be given facts, data, statistics, things that you can verify and prove yourself by whatever method, scientific method, an abacus, whatever, and you can come up with the same conclusion that this is right, this is accurate. And you said there are times where I'll dismiss it. And I say, what? If I feel strongly.
Through life experiences.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound rude. I'm not trying to be rude, but this is that down south, old slave, Negro, just, man, this isn't about life experiences. This is about facts. If you can, and here's the thing, you're looking like you just can't understand. You're raising a boy to think like you. Men don't get the same benefits and the same benefit of the doubt. Is his dad in his life?
He is.
But you take the leadership role in what he does.
Not all the time.
Okay. Well, how we got here is this woman actually said that she thinks that men choose women based upon looks and status, and that men choose women based upon love.
He meant money and status, not looks and status.
Then we broke down the numbers of 74% of black women earn less than $50,000, and 9% of black women earn over 9% of $74,000. So I said the women she was talking about was in the top 10%. She disagreed, and it turned out they're in the top 9%. And they even given facts that you can go look up on blackdemographics.com, that's been collated and sorted by everything else. She still said men choose women of a higher status. And I said, well, then why do black women who report to be the most educated and report as they go up in education and income, the marital percentages go down? That flies in face of your theory. And she still said, I'm right. You realize at no point have you changed anything you said in the face of better data.
Mm-hmm.
She's
How do we get anywhere with women like you if you're not willing to change your mind in the evidence of in when you sit down and have a conversation and the man presents better data and women like yourself refuse to change your mind? How do we get anywhere?
You cannot.
I don't know. I'm gonna stand on that. That's what I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Okay. So if your son was dealing with a woman
Mm-hmm.
and he was right, based upon everything that's observable, verifiable, facts, figures, data, statistics, and she believed like you, she's just gonna stand on what she believes. What would you tell him to do with her? Would you tell him to stay with her, continue to work with her? What would you tell him to do?
I would tell him to, if he feels like he want to stay, then continue to work with her. But if he can't, if he feel like he couldn't get through to her and she wasn't
Well,
being,
no, ma'am. There's no getting through. You've already tried, and she says, "I'm going to stand on like you're doing." If she was taking your stance, what would you tell your son to do with her?
if he didn't want to be with her anymore, I would tell him.
No, it has nothing to do with want to be with her. This is a matter of somebody has to lead, somebody has to follow. Choices have to be made. See, she's trying to deflect because she doesn't want to say the truth. If she's going to stand, you're at an impasse. He's over here, she's over there. A decision has to be made. She's not going to be budged. She's not going to budge. She's not cooperating. She's not agreeing.
Because she doesn't agree?
She doesn't agree, and she doesn't agree based upon her feelings. She doesn't agree. It's not that she doesn't agree based upon any of the facts or the data. It's solely based upon her stringent belief. What are you going to tell your son to do with a woman like that? Because if he's his wife, the woman he's with, what are you going to tell him to do with her?
That's his wife. What?
Are you going his girlfriend before he becomes his wife? See, what do you tell your son to do with a woman that will not follow his lead, will not change her mind based upon anything that's verifiable and provable? If it's only she makes decisions based primarily on her feelings, what do you tell your son to do? Do you tell him to stay or do you tell him to leave her?
Stay. Why? Just because a
This
woman
is where that Maury Povich shit, where boys are going, and Maury recognizes that you're not the father, and these mothers tell.
She would tell her son to stay with a woman that would not listen to facts. And I mean, he's not saying that the man is always right in this situation. That's not what this is. He's saying if it's provable, if it's verifiable, factual, that you're wrong, will you change your mind? And she said, not if my gut feeling is real strong. And if your son is with somebody like that, who you're like, oh, it takes 20 minutes to get there. I know this. I proved it. You can Google Maps it and it says 20 minutes. And she's like, no, it only takes 10. I can feel I can get there. We're going to leave 10 minutes later and you guys are late. It's not the business.
These boys, that you going to stay in that child's life. You've been there for the first 2 years and we're going to raise it. This is the pathology. Thank you, man. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jesus H. fucking Christ. This has been one of the most watershed moments in anything I've ever done. That is it, people. That mother said she would tell her son to stay in that shit. And you guys think we make this up?
That was bad. To me, that was very bad. She's raising a boy, a black boy, to not use facts but to use feelings. What if he feels a certain way and a cop pulls him over and the cop says, you need to get out, you need to do this, but instead of working with facts, he's going to work with feelings and get himself shot or something, man. This lady needs help. Her son needs help. Our whole community needs help. But that's why I'm sharing these Kevin Samuels, is because I want people to see this. Like, we need to do better, and we need to do better for our kids. Like, if you're a single mother or a single father, and just sometimes you just got to raise your kid. Sometimes your part is over. You might not get another partner for a while, but focus on your kid, man. Make a good adult. That, like, her kid is going to be way behind the 8 ball. So, yeah, that's another sad one. But again, I got to keep sharing these because I want this to be out there. I want people to see this from another's perspective.